I am Tatlin Taylor and the senior trustee at National Baptist Memorial Church. I am from Jamaica. I came to Washington, D.C., and I became a member of National Baptist Memorial Church in the fall of 1969. When I first entered National, it was I would not say it was a multicultural church. It wasn't. 97% Caucasian, and the other three, myself and a few more people, make it up. However, it was a full church. Both balconies, choir loft, and sanctuary were full. The entire church were occupied. There were always laughter, good hugs, a lot of tears, a lot of fellowship, and a lot of loving. We were always, at all times, willing and ready and able to help others. The longest program, it's the clothing and food distribution. You can reach people there. You will talk to people. It stopped being a program, an outreach. It became a family thing. The years went by, I could see where the church began to, congregation getting smaller and smaller because we getting older. Some sleepless nights for me because I'm wondering what happened.
Originally, I did my first sermon at National Baptist Memorial in August of 2022. They invited me back the next month, and they invited me back the next month. And sure enough, Miss T, the trustee, told me, she said, "Rev, when I met you the first day, I knew we were going to keep you, and now you're not leaving." And I'm like, okay. And in the beginning of the year, they requested I consider to be their interim pastor. Once I really got to spend more time with the church and to get involved in the day-to-day life of the church, I recognized they had some very significant problems. Now, it's a beautiful edifice and wonderful, amazing history, but it was in really bad shape. I just started praying. I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm Baptist, so I need 3 things from you. I said, we need cash, we need craftsmen, and we need collaborative partners. In the meantime, we had started spending more time with Pastor Graham, and we started talking, and it was like, what would it be like for us to be in partnership together? And I said, yeah, you all need a home and we need some money. And I just believe that God is going to provide what we need. Try not to worry about it so much. The money will come when we need it. And he's like, you're such a woman of faith. I said, I learned if it's God's will, he'll pay the bill. This church is his will. Because the church was in such disrepair, I was like, Lord, please send us people who will appreciate the majesty of the building, but will not be overwhelmed and overtaken by it. Please send us people that specifically know how to take care of this kind of building. So that's how God showed me about Jim Davis.
We do work here predominantly in Washington, D.C. Office buildings, apartments, renovations, office fit-outs, education, laboratories, lots and lots of things. A number of years ago, Shannon and I came to worship at the district church. We live out in Virginia, so we came into D.C., and then we went out to lunch with Amy and Aaron. And so at the time, Aaron said, look, we need a facility. And I said to him, you should look at other church buildings here in the District of Columbia. Many churches are diminishing where the district church is growing, but I'm certain you could find an old church facility and that, you all could purchase it and repurpose it and, carry on. Then it looked like in about 2 or 3 years ago, he reached out again and he said, Jim, we're looking at the National Baptist Church. Do you know anything about it? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And I sent him a picture of it and I said, my great-grandfather built that church. And he said, really? That is just really cool. That's a God story.
So Miss T and I one day were up in the history room in the church, and we were just looking through some stuff, and I found this leaflet, a program, which was the dedication of the new sanctuary. So I opened it up, and I'm looking at the people, and there I see Davis.
And so I said, look, may I see that? And we looked inside of it, and they mentioned my great-grandfather in there, and they said he was a great partner and a good builder. And to hear that my great-grandfather was a good guy really filled me with a lot of joy.
Oh my goodness, how amazing was that? And again, to me, that meant there's the craftsman, there's the chief craftsman. But I just knew that was another indication of how God had answered my prayers, that he had sent the exact people, but had already orchestrated it, well before I started praying.
So the renovation of the National Baptist Church for the District Church will be the first project that my great-grandfather built that we will be renovating. There are lots of neat photographs of the buildings that great-grandfather and Dad did. There were quite a number of churches. This is a very exciting thing to be selected to do this job, to touch something and to renovate something that he did, approaching now almost 100 years ago. This facility, it's just a facility, it's just a building, but it's about the people and the faith and the mission and the excitement and the electricity of the district church that we'll bring to this region.
16th Street is known for the avenue of churches. And what would it be like if we actually partnered together to take care of not only the neighborhood, but also work together to take back the city?
Now we join together, we become one. We are not losing, we are gaining. We are gaining sisters and brothers in Christ.
What this church does, the impact that it has on the city is so vital. And we are just excited to be a small part of that.
I pray that I will live long enough to see the building restored. And that restoration for National, it's a new birth. And that new birth would be the most glorious thing for me.